Hey, my Lipton. So this is gonna be like the part two to my Satyamshivamsundaram review. But for the part two, I'm just gonna be discussing like as far as like the reception of the film. Also, I'm gonna discuss the equation, the situation between Rajkapoor, Devanand, and zeenataman. So I already did the first part of the Satyan Shivan Sundaram film review. So that's the film review, okay? So make sure y'all go listen to the first part of that and then come to the second part of the video. Come to part two. This is gonna be part two. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's get up to 800 subscribers. The goal is to get up to 1,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much. Also, I do have my Bollywood slash ZTV film playlist on my channel. If y'all want to go look at other film reviews that I have done in the past, such as Sitar Aur Gita, Sangam, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, and also I did a lot of ZTV film review, ZTV show reviews on my channel. Make sure y'all, definitely go check it out. I have different content on my channel that I think that people will like. Make sure that y'all subscribe to my channel. Make sure y'all, share my videos. Have friends, family subscribe to my channel. And let's get to the part two of the Satyan Shivan Sundaram. I think for part two, I'm just gonna discuss like the overall controversy of Satyan Shivan Sundaram. So, like I said in part one, the film review, part two basically for this part two is basically just so like I said in my film review, Satyan Shivan Sundaram was very controversial for its time. It was very controversial for its time. This, like I said, this film was released in 1978. There was nudity in this film. Okay, Zeenataman, who played the character of Rupa, she was showing her breast. Nipples, areolas, all of it was outside. Okay, there was kissing in the film. Shashi Kapoor. Shashi Kapoor. He's the youngest Kapoor, but like he was also there's a sense of him that was also a little westernized and so forth. And Shashi Kapoor was very handsome at that time, and Zeenat Aman really broke barriers for that time. And obviously, there's a whole other conversation to be had, and maybe I'll have to find the time and the energy to do the video, but like, cause there is a shift right now in Bollywood, and people can say that the shift was due to a lot of the Zenith Amans of the world, the Dimple Kapadia. I think that's how you say her last name. Forgive me if I say it wrong. Her Sharmila to go, so many different people, so many different actresses of that time who were very few, but they were still there, very high profile, that broke certain barriers. But at the same time, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, has their breaking of barriers also contributed to how very oversaturated, very nonsensical times that Bollywood is in right now, and also just like the hyper sexuality that is in Bollywood right now. So that is a whole other conversation, a whole other video to do when it comes to that conversation. And we do have to look at the trailblazers. We do have to look at the first of that time. Hell, even what's her name, Simi Garwal. She was another one too that was very open with her sexuality in films. So it's a whole other conversation to be had. But this film was very brave. So obviously with the nudity, and this one was a hit. That, like, to be clear, like, even though it had controversy, it had criticism for the openness of certain things and the kissing and the nudity, it was a hit in the box office. So listen, like I said, even back then, all publicity is good publicity. And I wouldn't say, like, at least, the reason why I don't have an issue with this one, because it's like, even right now, for me personally, I do have an issue with the whole hypersexuality right now with Bollywood, and like everything just seems like, okay, let's just kiss, or okay, let's just be sexual, even though for the plot and for the script it does not make sense. I feel like it makes sense for this film. As much as Raj Kapoor is as much as Raj Kapoor has his ways, I do think that he does have an artistic mind. Like with Raj Kapoor, it does make sense for his scripts. Like it's like, okay, if you're gonna do the kissing, if you're gonna come out here with the nudity, back it up with the acting, back it up with the script, back it up with the music. And unfortunately, that is not what's happening right now today in 2024 Bollywood. And it's unfortunate that that's not the case. But it is what it is. But like I said, the film has some nudity. And people did question Raj Kapoor for his decisions, and this is not the first time though. Like not to say the first time he's showing nudity, but the first time like that he focuses, like the plot also tends to focus on a woman's actress's body in his film, because we can look at the Padminis, we can look at the Vyjayanthimala, we can look at who else who else he sort of focused on a little bit on Nargis. We can look at those, like, there's certain, not to say like it was to the extreme of how zeenataman really showed her body, but like there was some areas like I think in Sangam, Vyjayanthimala was like the first South Indian actress to wear like a one piece swimsuit. You know what I mean? And it's like, other than, like, before that, she never wore a swimsuit. Nargis in, I think it's, was it Barzat? If I'm not mistaken. No, or Awada. Awada. I think it's in Awada where she was like changing, but like there was like a towel in front, and you can only see the back of her back. But she wasn't like, she didn't expose her breast or anything like that. That was very, could have been controversial at that time. So it's like Raj Kapoor does push these boundaries. And while I do understand the artistic nature of things, there's also a nature where I do feel like Raj Kapoor does, have his perverted moments. I have to be honest. There's times where I feel like Raj Kapoor does come off a little bit perverted at times. And I will show you this quote. And I'm going to get to Devanand in a second. So, and this is a Raj Kapoor quote. Okay, this is not, take this information for what y'all will. It says here, as the script took final shape, the figure of the figure of the central character Satyamshivamsundaram Ropa, daughter of the temple Puraj, took a very clear shape in his mind's eye. Ropa had two very distinctive physical characteristics. One was that scar which she had on her cheek. That scar was central to the theme of the film. It was something which Raj had already decided to ask Modi, India's only Hollywood-trained makeup artist, to create. It was Ropa's other physical characteristic which began to haunt Raj Kapoor, because it was a characteristic which not Sarosh Modi, but only God Almighty could create. Big breasts. Ropa had to have big, beautiful breasts. This fixation for magnificently proportioned mammaries is something which has been a basic part of Raj Kapoor's libido since childhood. Talking about it years later in an interview, there's an interview that he did in 1986. Raj Kapoor confessed its origins thus. This is a quote from Raj Kapoor. I was extremely precautious, and I was a worshiper of nudity. I think it all started because of my intimacy with my mother, who was young, beautiful, and sharp had the sharp features of a Pathan woman. We often bathed together, and seeing her in the nude must have left a deep erotic. This is Raj Kapoor's quote. Okay. That is what Raj Kapoor said. I take it from the horse's mouth. Now, do I think that, yes, he did, do I think, yes, Raj Kapoor has his artistic liberties, and he does look at things from an artistic eye. And do I think that, Zeenataman in this film, she was beautifully shot, body was on point. Even though he has nudity, but like the breast was beautifully placed. The way the camera used to take her body and that sort of thing. Yes. Do I think that is true? Yes. But at the same time, just looking at from the other women as well, the Vyjayanthimala, the fact that he put her in a one piece, Padmini, and there's a whole scene, a movie scene that he did, that he did with her where she was in the old, like, the swimming around, sari all wet. You can somewhat see her figure, because Padmini at that time was a very curvy woman. Nargis. So it's like, I also kind of looked at it in a way where Raj Kapoor was like, listen, like, I want to see that body. Let me see that body, yada yada. And I do think that, Raj Kapoor is also very, like, let's be very clear. There's a reason why he's called, the greatest showman in Bollywood. There's a reason why, his liaisons with these women have been out there for a very, very long time. And speaking of that, this is where I want to transition. We need to discuss this. Because you already know, anytime I do a film review, anytime I do anything like that, I love to discuss a lot of the backstage antics, a lot of the rumors that are going around at that time, what was happening, so forth. So, Zeenataman, okay, so there were rumors at that time that Raj Kapoor and Zeenataman had an affair, or were having an affair, or whatever. And like I said before, Raj Kapoor was married, had children. This is not the first time that Raj Kapoor has cheated on his wife. He's cheated on his wife with Nargis. He's cheated on his wife with Padmini. He's cheated on his wife allegedly with Vyjayanthimala, because she denied it, even though I believe it happened. And if y'all guys want to go listen to my thoughts about the Vyjayanthimala with Raj Kapoor situation, there is a Sangam review that I did on my channel. You guys can go on my Bollywood playlist. It's there. Go listen to that video. Go tell me what you guys think. But yeah, I do think, that, like, that he did have an affair with Vyjayanthimala, even though she denied it, but I do believe it happened. But, allegedly it happened because she denied it. And allegedly, he allegedly had an affair with Raj Kapoor. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because Dave Anand came. So this is Dave Anand, by the way. Mind you, these men were so old. Like, yes, Zeenat was in her 20s and all these different things. But, like, they were, these men were, like, in their late 40s going on to their 50s, like, being in love with a girl that could have been their child. It is what it is. But Dave Anand wrote a book, apparently. And let me pull it up. So Dave Anand, I think Dave Anand was the first one to really discover Zeenataman, if I'm not mistaken, or brought it into Bollywood or something like that. I don't know what happened. But, Dave Anand really, like, did a lot of work with Zeenat. Well, Zeenat was his protege. Zeenat was, worked closely with Dave Anand, that sort of thing, in the 70s. And during this time, Dave Anand, and Dave Anand was married, too, as well. He was married, he had kids. Dave Anand basically revealed that he actually fell in love with Zeenataman in the 70s. Like, he fell in love with her. Like, he thought that, because Zeenataman, let's be very clear, At that time, she was considered, she was the it girl. Like, she was considered Western, free spirited. Like, she was different than all the other particular Indian girls. Like, where they were more conservative, she was the one that was more out there. She was the one that was more free spirited and like willing to take risks. And I think that was very appealing to Dave Anand. And he ended up falling in love with her. And he admitted it in his book. But, however, and I'm going to read it. He said that, like, okay, no, let me read it first. So it says here, the evergreen star Bollywood floored millions of women with his performances, but could not get the one he truly loved, Zeenataman. Dave Anand was one of the successful actors in Hindi cinema. The evergreen star of Bollywood floored millions of women with his performances, stunning looks, but could not get the one he truly loved, Zeenataman. The late actor, in his biography Romancing with Life 2007, has mentioned freely and honestly about his feelings for Zeenat and how he had decided to confess them to her. The two first met on the sets of Hey Rama, Hey Krishna in 1971. When the film was released, Zeenataman was 20 and Dave Anand was 48. He was already married and had 2 kids. Zeenat's bald demure had made Dave Anand fall in love with her. However, the yesteryear actress had never felt the same way. Let's discuss. Talking about the late actor in his book, Romancing with Life, wrote, whenever and wherever she was, talked about glowingly, I loved it. And whenever and wherever I was, discussed in the same vein, she was jubilant. In the subconscious, we had become emotionally attached to each other. Suddenly, one day, I felt I was desperately in love with Zeenat and wanted to say so to her. To make an honest confession, at a very special, exclusive place meant for romance, I chose the rendezvous at the Taj on top of the city where we had dined together once earlier. Dave Anand even called Zeenat and had fixed a meeting with her after a party, but soon things changed for him. He wrote, a drunken Rajkapoor threw his hands around her exuberantly. This suddenly struck me as a little too familiar, and the way she reciprocated his embrace seemed more than just polite and courteous. Later, rumors about Zeena's close proximity to Raj Kapoor while filming Satyamshivamsundaram were rife. This made Dave Anand more suspicious, he mentioned in his book. The hearsay now started ringing true. My heart was bleeding. In drunken joviality, Raj told Zeenat, you are breaking your promise that you will always be seen by me only in a white sari. He further wrote, more embarrassment was written large on her face, and Zeenat was not the same Zeenat for me anymore. My heart broke into pieces. The rendezvous had already lost its meaning in my mind. I sneaked out the place later when Zeenat came to know about it in conversation. So this is what Dave said. And I'm gonna tell you what Zeenat says, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts. So in 2018, she reacted. She said, I respect Dave Sav greatly. It is because of the Nav Kitan that I became a movie star. But he had his perspective of what was happening that evening, which was completely different from mine. The thing is, I did a lot of movies with Dave Anand and he considered me to be his protege. And I had been shooting with Raj G, and he had mentioned that he would at my place. Yeah, I don't know who wrote this article. They messed this up. And Dave Saad also supposed to be there at the same place. So I went and greeted him. Obviously, he was my co-star, and I had aspirations to be in his movie. Honestly, I don't know what Dave Saad took away from that, because that was kind of weird. I had no idea that he was going to tell me he was in love with me or he wanted to marry me. I was completely clueless. Let me just say this. First of all, I think First of all, it was even like I just even though listen, I first I think it was even inappropriate for Dave Saab to even have those sort of feelings for Zeenat Aman because even here, like you could tell that he looks so way older than her, and she looks so young here. But yes, she was 20, so whatever. But at the same time, that and then on top of that, it's just like it sucks and it's icky because it was like Dave Saab was married, and then he had children, so it's just like, sir, like you were having like this emotional thing for another woman other than your wife. It looks sucky. It sucks. Now with Raj Kapoor. I'm not surprised that Raj Kapoor would say something like that, talking about you should only need to be seen with me drunk, and because he was known to be a drunk, he was known to be all handsy and things like that. Now, do I believe that? Do I believe Zina Aman? Do I believe that, or do I believe Dave Saab? Do I believe that Zina Aman had an affair with Raj Kapoor? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know. I don't know. Usually, I'm very sure about these sort, especially when it comes to Raj Kapoor and his affairs and the things that have been reported. For me, y'all already know on this channel, I said it. I said that yes, he did have, because at this point it's been confirmed that he had an affair with Nargis for years. He had a little bit of a liaison with Padmini. Vyjayanthimala, even though she denies it to this day, I believe that he did get into an affair with her. Was Zeenataman? I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. I don't know. And the reason why I say this is because I don't see Dave Saab really, like, I think Dave Anand saw what he saw. Like, I don't think that he would just make up something like this, that, like, Raj Kapoor would come up and hug. And of course, hugging is not wrong. Of course not. Like, you can hug your peers or whatever, but at the same time, it's like Raj was like older, very older. He could be like Zenat's dad, and probably the way that he did it, and the fact that he would say you're only supposed to be wearing a white sari. Of course, like, why? Of course, Dave Anand would interpret it in that way. And plus, listen, let's be very clear too. Dave Anand was one of Raj Kapoor's best friends. Okay, Dave Anand is very aware of Raj Kapoor's the women in his life going back and forth. So for me, I think of it in a way where it's like, I think Dave, and then on top of that, with the fact that Zeenat was in Satyamshivamsundaram, the fact that she was nude in the film, she went topless in the film. She never did that with any other, like, so it's like the fact that she did that for a Raj Kapoor film, maybe, and yes, maybe she did it for artistic reasons, maybe, whatever. But I don't see Dave Saab lying about that. I think he saw what he saw. But then at the same time, I also look at it in a way that maybe he definitely could have misinterpreted it, because I also don't see Zenat lying about who she was involved with. You understand me? Because it's like, first of all, if I was even like, I feel like if she, like, it's crazy, because it's like, I look at it in both ways, because it's like, you had a Vyjayanthimala who I 100% believe had an affair with Raj Kapoor, but she denies it to this day. So it's like, is Zeenataman sort of pulling a Vyjayanthimala right now too? Like, is this like a situation where it's like she's trying to deny it because it looks bad on her and on her image, and people will look at her a kind of way where it's like, okay, you got involved with the married man. And on top of that, we also need to look at the fact that, and it's no shade, I really like Zeenataman. But we also got to be honest. Zeenataman did also get involved with Sanjay Khan, who was also a married man, and she married him for a year. She was like the second wife to him. So it's like, I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, girl, like, you saying that, but it's like, you get involved with, and that whole Sanjay Khan saga and Sanjay Khan, and that's a whole other video. That's a whole other conversation to be had. That is not one to be had on this channel right now, on this video right now. But so it's like, okay, that's one thing. But at the same time, I'm also looking at it from a sense of like, listen, Zeenataman too, and it's not, like I said, it's no shade. And I like Zeenataman. But Zeenataman also had really bad low self-esteem at that time too. Like the self-esteem was just not there. Like Zeenataman was not marrying up. Like she was not looking up, she was looking down when it comes to men. And someone like a Rajkapoor, maybe she kind of saw him. Well, first of all, he was older, way older. You know, he was big, he was, you know, he was tubby and fat. It's just like, I also don't really see Zeenataman being attracted to someone like that. And then on top of that, he was rich, he was, you know. So I'm looking at it from a sense of like, you know, she wouldn't go for someone like him because of how Rajkapoor looked. Like, if we're going to be honest, Shashi Kapoor would have been more of Zeenataman's type. I'm sorry, like, I just have to be honest. Shashi Kapoor, you know, was the slimmer type in the Kapoor family. You know, this would have been her type, I feel like. I don't think Raj Kapoor would have been her type, if I'm going to be honest. And on top of that, at that time, Raj Kapoor was getting bigger, and he was drunk, and he was just, you know, he was a director. So, and then on top of that, like I said before, Zeenataman had low self-esteem at that time. Very low self-esteem. Just look at the men that she married. Sanjay Khan, the husband that she had her kids with, that's a whole other video. Like I said, the Sanjay Khan saga and her husband, there was Zeenataman's her second marriage, whole other video. That's a whole documentary that we need to do. Okay, but it's like, and you know, Zeenataman married down. She married down, and she married very abusive men. So it's like, was Raj Kapoor really her type? So I don't know. I look at it from both ends. There's a part of me that feels like, okay, maybe it could have been true. The affair could have been true, and then Dave Anand could have saw what he saw. But at the same time, there's a part of me that feels like, you know, I don't think Zeenataman would have went for Raj Kapoor. Like, first of all, I just don't see him as her type. And also looking at the men that she was with, Sanjay Khan and her second marriage, they don't give the Raj Kapoor type. Hell, they didn't even give the Dave Anand type, if I'm going to be honest. So, and then on top of that, I'm sorry, and maybe Zeenataman will admit this now, in her age right now, but like, Zeenataman had low self-esteem at that time. Like, I had to be honest. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all need to go watch Zeenataman's interview with Simi Garwal. Go watch that interview, and y'all guys will understand why I say that Zeenataman had low self-esteem. Because it's no shade. At that time, she had low self-esteem. Like, for her to be as beautiful, glamorous, Western, free-spirited, you know, out there, I guess she didn't really look at herself as, she wasn't hypergamous. Like, she wasn't looking up. She was looking down, unfortunately. And she married down. And there was times when she got abused, unfortunately. So, I don't know. But then again, I feel like it was inappropriate for Dave Anand to have feelings for Zeenataman. I just think that it was completely inappropriate for him to even do that. The fact that you brought this girl in the industry, you helped her, you did a lot, like that. This should have been a girl that you should have saw as your daughter. And even look at it right here, you look like her father here. It's like, you know. But I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it. It's like, I think Dave Saab is also not lying. There's a part of me that feels like he's not lying, but then there's a part of me that feels like he probably misinterpreted the hug and maybe Raj Kapoor does talk like that with his actresses, even though he might not have because listen, I'm not saying Raj Kapoor had affairs with all his actresses, but there's specific ones, you know, that I think he did with. But at the same time, Raj Kapoor too doesn't seem like Zeenat's type. But then at the same time, you know, Zeenat, I hate that I have to bring this up. Zeenat was fighting real hard to play the role of Rupa in Satyamshivamsundaram. So it's like, and the fact, she fought real hard to play this role, and the fact that she went topless in the film for Raj and those sort of thing, and for the film. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I really. This video is so messy. I'm just saying. I just wanted to get into some things, but I don't know. It's like a part of me I believe Zeenat's interpretation. A part of me believes Dave's interpretation, but at the same time, Dave could have been wrong. But then again, who knows? Zeenat's also, she might be pulling up Vyjayanthimala. She might be saying, "Listen, like, I don't know that man." So, we'll see. That's just what I think. That's just what I think. That's how I interpret things. But Zeena, I really, really like zeenataman. I think that she's really, really brave and very articulate. Yeah, I enjoy her. But that was just my part 2 review of Satyamshivamsundaram, the love triangle between, I don't even want to call it love triangle because it's like whatever, but the whole saga between Rajkapoor, Devanand, and zeenataman. Yes. So y'all guys tell me what you guys think. I actually want to know people's thoughts and feelings about this. Do y'all guys think that, zeenataman had a little something with Rajkapoor? Do you guys believe that it happened? Do you guys believe Devanand, or do you guys feel like, Devanand kind of interpreted it the wrong way? Like it was not that serious for you to think that we were having an affair. But yeah, please tell what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get up to 800 subscribers. The goal is to get up to 1,000. Please share my videos if y'all care. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.